What's up guys, Woody here, back with another Gwent video, and today it's a video I used to do and I wanted to do it again. People seem to quite like them, and it's kind of a review, a mini review, because we've not actually played the cards yet, but kind of a review preview, however you want to word it, of the upcoming cards coming in the new Master Mirror expansion, which we know is coming at the end of this month after the Open number 2. Now, obviously we've only had the card reveals. They've been revealed all over the place. But we haven't had them. Obviously, no one's played the cards yet, and so I can only speculate, theory craft, whatever you want to do, on what I think of the cards, and that's all this is going to be. This is going to be my impressions of the cards, what I like about them, what I don't like about them, how I think they'll fit into current archetypes, what I think they'll combo with well. Now, I will complete disclosure, I am recently returning to the game, so my knowledge of complete synergies of every single combo in the game is limited to what it used to be. However, I have played quite a lot of the game, and I'm not just kind of doing this video off a whim. I have kind of gone through and thought about what I like combo-wise and how I think it could work. But I'm also going to be referring some of these mechanics to other card games, because people know I've played lots of card games, I've streamed lots of card games, and there are some of these mechanics that feel like they've come across directly from other cards or very much influenced by other CCGs, and I'll be comparing to how I think it sat in that game and how I think it will sit in Gwent. But anyway, Master Mirror expansion. Before we jump into the cards, let's just go a quick reminder, shall we, of the keywords, in case people are watching and they're like, well, what does that keyword do? So obviously I'll explain it anyway. But we got devotion, which I think is my favourite keyword coming in this expansion. And I should say this isn't going to be every single card previewed now. I'm going to be doing 4 videos of this over the next month, basically, or as of now, like 3 weeks. But about a video a week, kind of updating with the newly revealed cards. But anyway, devotion is my favourite keyword. I think it's great. Anything that synergizes it into playing with, playing of a more synergized deck with that faction is great. One of the things I loved about Legends of Runeterra, there are no neutrals. Every deck is synergized because every card is linked to a faction, and that's what I really liked. It's not going to change in Gwent, because you still have neutrals coming in this expansion and not kind of getting rid of neutrals. But I like devotion because it kind of leans into that, like rewarding players for playing deeply synergized faction decks. Now, this devotion here, people have been saying, oh, well, it's only 7, like 7 value off this. Yes, for base value, if you're running a devotion, yeah, you're getting free bleeding. Granted, they've got to hope that all the bleeding ticks to make sure you get the free damage, and then you spawn a base copy, which is the 4 plus the 3 is 7. But it comes into synergy elsewhere, right? Like instantly, if you're running Oak, well, this could end up being 1 extra damage off Oak, because you're spawning another base copy to the rogue, giving another card to that rogue, giving 1 extra damage or 1 extra buff to Oak. So with that synergy, it's instantly going out for 8. 4 for 8 is pretty damn decent for a bronze. So, and there will be other synergies that people will find with that as well. So don't just look at the face value of the card. Look at what other value you can get with some of the abilities. Then we've got Echo. Everyone's saying like this is broken. Echo's busted. Echo's going to be stupid, dumb, strong. I think Echo will be strong. I do. However, I think Echo is going to be bugged when it launches, and I don't mean that horribly. Because let me read the wording. I'll explain why I think it's going to be bugged, because it's happened in the past in Gwent. Returns the card from the graveyard to the top of the deck at round start. So if I play this halfway through round 2, it won't go to the top of my deck until round 3. The card also becomes doomed, removing it from the battle permanently. Where I think it's going to be bugged is I think that initially, now I hope I'm wrong, that there will be a visual cue on the card to show it's doomed. So if I could click on my opponent's graveyard, I could probably see which card they have potentially chose to go back on the deck. Now, if that is the case, there are plenty of stuff. There's even a card, Squirrel, coming in this set, which allows me to banish cards from my opponent's graveyard. If that is a visual bug, or even if it's a bug that they're meant to have, that they give it doomed, then I can just remove it. I can just go, well, I'm just going to play this and banish it. So you don't get your Echo ability off. What you are giving here is your... Well, here's where they need to be careful. Not careful, because the information's there, okay? Where Gwent doesn't have a deck tracker, so it doesn't have a card history, shall we say. So this, unless I go through all my opponent's graveyard and I memorize what's my opponent's graveyard, I probably won't know what I put back on top of my deck, which is a little bit dumb, because if anyone's ever played paper card games, if you're taking a card from your graveyard to put back in your hand or into your deck, you always show your opponent. You unless the card says do not reveal this to your opponent. Like most times you have to say I'm pulling this back out to bring it back in. You have to share that information. Or they're allowed to ask for that information anyway, because they're allowed to search your graveyard at any time. So this has to be careful. I think it will be bugged, and I'm not trying to play down on Gwent here. I think there will be a Doom visual like pop on the card, and then I can go, oh cool, so you chose that card, I'm just going to get rid of it now. And now it's doomed, it's completely gone from the game. So this is strong, this is very strong. The 2 provisions over Royal Decree, I think are not enough. I think this needs to be a 14 provision card. I think it will get nerfed to a 13 or 14 provision card, if I'm being honest. The 2 provisions, like I would run this over Royal Decree almost any day of the week. Yeah, it's going to be, yeah, there's a reason why it's going to be strong, and I'll get onto that later on. But I think this card is going to be too strong in my opinion, but I also think it's going to be bugged, and people are going to be able to play around with the bug when it first launches. Just my opinion again. Going across Veteran. Now I'm fully aware this was a closed beta keyword that people are happy to see coming back. Increase base power of a unit by 1 at the start of the 2nd and 3rd round. It's nice. I do like the idea of this. Like buffing around. My issue with it is, and it comes with the evolution cards as well, why would I ever play this round 1? Like, okay, you might force my hand, and I might have to play it round 1, but just like having no like ownership on you buffing the card or meeting any criteria, it's just like, oh, I'll just play this round 3. I'll play this round 3. It'll come out for a 7, and I'll give Rupture to my enemy, which we'll get onto in a minute. And yeah, so I do like it. I think it's nice. Where I think it'll be nicer is the archetype of Veteran. So there'll be... Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There'll be cards that that will link into the Veteran as archetypes. When you play a Veteran, that do this X damage, or... I'm all over shit now. Do this, like, buff by this, or buff a Veteran by this, or... I don't know. Maybe that is the thing. I don't know. But the Veteran keyword, I think it's fine. But you're just kind of putting... Like CDPR said a little while ago, but they wanted to make more, they wanted to put more value on round 2. Well, I think this is taken away from round 2 value, and I think it's just putting more value on round 3, because it's where I'm going to get most points. So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on it there. Conspiracy, it's clear that they want spies back. It's clear that Nilfgaard, like, people have been crying out. Nilfgaard for a while haven't had like a synergized archetype, right? Nilfgaard are good at kind of messing with your opponent's deck, or messing with their hand, or messing with their board state in a kind of control-y fashion. But if you look at stuff like Syndicate, it's got the whole bounty package and as like an archetype. If you get Skellige, you have obviously the great swords, like a synergized build there as well. If you look at Scoia'tael, then obviously you have dwarfs, or you have elves, like they have actual like tribal synergy in those. Nilfgaard doesn't have that, so bringing spies in is pretty good. Conspiracy seems pretty good of it as well. Deploy damage unit by 2 conspiracy, meaning that when you target a card with spying, you buff as well. So okay, so if I target a card on my opponent's side that has spying and I damage it by 2, then I will boost this by 2 as well, meaning I'll come out for 7 points off the 3. So, yeah, and again, this is a Nilfgaard card. It's not a neutral card, so it's going to be playing into that devotion as well, right? Symbiosis. Symbiosis is a weird one, and I think Symbiosis is actually going to really piss people off. So whenever you play a nature card, spawn a trident, which power is equal to the number of cards with Symbiosis you control in a random allied row. Now, the reason I think it's going to piss people off is you're going to really swamp your board. Now, if anyone's played Elf, like Elf Swarm, then, or just a full Elf package, you'll know those Deadeyes, as well as other cards, can really start spamming up your board. And in the long round 3, you could easily have a full board state. Now, with spies coming around as well, it's not going to be too hard to kind of just completely shut your opponent down by going, well, you can't play cards now. I've swamped your board. So this board is going to pretend like... I think it's going to be underwhelming. I don't think it's going to be too strong. Like, Scoia'tael don't have stuff like monsters where you can spawn these tridents and then consume them to keep their base power, but then remove board state. They just kind of swarm the board, and people will row stack in Syndicate, in Scoia'tael anyway because of Oak, right? So... Yeah, I think in the long round, if playing too many Symbiosis cards, as well as other stuff that potentially is going to pop its head up in this meta, I think it's going to potentially has issues, but we'll see on that one. And Veil. Veil is not the last one actually, but Veil's a really cool mechanic, and I think it's a very clever mechanic by CDPR. They could have easily said we're going to nerf poison because people have been moaning about poison, right? Double ball's a thing, and people have been moaning about it and aren't happy with it. Instead, they're like, well, let's not nerf poison. Let's release a keyword that requires ownership on the pilot, which is something I always stress that I love, to play around poison. And I think that's brilliant because Veil's a real nice balance. Veil coming out and shields units from detrimental statuses like bleeding and poison, but also prevents them from gaining beneficial ones like vitality. So this is going to potentially shut decks down, but then also having a card vitality, and you might be forced to then, let's say that you want to keep an engine around and you put a Veil on that engine. You then might be forced to put your vitality on a card that's going to proc it up to 8 or 9 or 10 value, which means that then you're potentially playing into tool removal, or if people are running Igni, and we've seen how popular Igni is at this point in time, then maybe it plays into something like that. So it's a whole nother mechanic that the pilot has to deal with, and that's something I love. I absolutely love when CCGs do that. Put ownership on the player to manage their resources, and it's what Veil's going to do. It's not nerfing poison, it's not nerfing locks, it's not nerfing anything like that. It's basically just saying, hey, deal with this resource. There's a resource at your exposure here for you to spend how you want to spend it wisely, otherwise you're still going to lose the game. And then we go across to the last one, which is Rupture. Rupture is... It's a clever mechanic. I quite like Rupture. So at the end of the... So basically what you do is you give a unit Rupture, and then at the end of that affected unit's turn, that unit damages itself equal to its power, and the status is removed afterwards. Now notice that it's a status. Rupture is a status. So Purify will remove Rupture. And it's at the end of the turn. So let's say that they played... Let's say they played... I'm not even trying to pronounce his name. I'm going to call him William Wallace, because he looks a bit like William Wallace. Let's say they play William Wallace and they give Oak Rupture.
Rupture, right?
I then have a turn to play Purify, because it's at the end of the turn where Oak will do damage to itself equal to its power. So I have a turn to then Purify, and then Oak doesn't damage itself. So Rupture doesn't go off. So I think that's a nice way of balancing the Rupture. It's not straight up removal. One of our biggest issues with Gwent in the past has been how they've nerfed control so heavily. With stuff like Rupture and other mechanics coming into the game, there's definitely, like, the amount of Doom stuff coming into the game, there's definitely more of a control element in this set than I expected. And I'm definitely interested to see how it goes. But anyway, look at the keywords. Let's jump in and we're going to go through the cards now. So obviously not every video will go through the keywords, but I wanted to refresh that for the first one because I know the information is still fresh for some people. But anyway, Pact. Sorry, we can't zoom in on these cards, guys, but I will read them out as quick as I can. We'll try and get through this video nice and punchy. So Pact, boost a unit by 6 and give it Doom. Now, my thought straight away on this one was like, hey, 6 for 4. It's pretty cool. You could argue 7 for 4 if you're playing Nilfgaard and you've got I can't remember her name now. The one where you, every time an opponent gains a status, anytime someone on the board gains a status, they buff by 1. Doom's a status. You play this, you'd buff a unit by 6, and then she'd buff by 1 as well, and you get 7 for 4. But I kind of thought, well, do you know what? K here is one of my favourite cards. Very memey card. If anyone wants to know who K here is, it's this guy coming up on the board now. K on the screen now. K here is melee row. Whenever an enemy receives a boost self by the same amount. Now I instantly thought, well, we've got K here and we've got Vincent, right? So this is pretty memey. I can't even spell now. And Vincent is destroy an enemy unit with status. So you could genuinely use the Pact as removal. Like, they got a tool removal. Well, they've been buffing something up nice and high. I play Pact on it. I get the 6 boost on K here anyway. I've now given it a status. And I have plenty at my resources to either remove an enemy with a status or just kill a doomed enemy. So it's not the best synergy for the card, but it's a synergy that I instantly was like, yeah, I'm going to play around with that. I'm quite interested to see if I can get a K here deck working in round 3. But anyway, Will-O-Wisps, destroy a doomed unit. I don't really need to say much more than that. The artwork looks cool. I think this would be a nice premium. Destroy a doomed unit. There's lots of Doom coming in this set. And again, this plays into the unexpected amount of control that I didn't expect to be coming in. Like, there are ways of already giving targets doomed in the game. Like, Gaunter already gives doomed, right? So just playing, this is another way of potentially removing a doomed card. And remember, if they play Echo, that card that they draw next turn, hey, it's now doomed. A big fancy card that they've got back from the graveyard to the top of their deck, it's doomed. Play Will-O-Wisps, it's gone. Simple as that. Offering. Damage a unit by 1. Death Blow. Play a bronze unit from your graveyard and give it doomed. Doomed again. I think this is going to be fine. I think this is going to be absolutely fine. Damaging a unit by 1 is super, super, super hard. It's really tricky to make sure you get that exact damage. It's why Gale in Monsters is, like, the reason Gale in Monsters is a pretty good card is because it has the bleeding proc on it, right? So it can damage by 3 if it's bleeding. Otherwise, you almost never get it off. I can't remember his name now. Is it Gumphrey? A card that used to be very prominent when I played Gwent a little while ago. Is damaged by 1, boost health by 5, I believe it is. Here we go. Gregory. How often do you see Gregory played? Not that often, because getting this proc of 1 damage off is pretty tricky. So I think it gets played. I think it will be an okay card offering. I think it'll be really hard to get it going, especially with... I mean, there's certain archetypes... It's a neutral card, so there's be certain factions that have, like, potentially maybe running this in something like... I don't know why you'd run it in Scoia'tael, but having, like, Pavko that can ping 2 every turn, then you have a chance of setting this up, right? Playing a bronze unit from your graveyard, I mean, you could get another Druid back for some more harmony, potentially, if that's what you wanted to go for. Like, I don't know. I think this card isn't one that's going to shift the meta, break a meta, but I think it could be pretty strong. Skellige obviously has a lot of stuff that interacts with the graveyard. Playing a card from the graveyard gets an extra buff. Obviously, it has to be a bronze, but still to get buffs from playing from graveyards. So it'll be interesting to see how people build into offering. It's not a card I'm super excited about playing around with, but it's... yeah, I think it's an interesting mechanic. And the doomed stuff as well means there's even more chance to remove that card that they play. Wandering Trident, it's a token. It's a 1-drop token with 0 power. This is what they spawn off Symbiosis. So this would come out at 2 if you had 2 Symbiosis units on the board. It come out at 3 if you had 3 Symbiosis units on the board. Simple as that, really. It's a doomed because it's token, and you can't... Having a token isn't doomed in any CCG is pretty much dumb. So yeah. Oak Critters. Now, Oak Critters is a card we saw earlier. Now, again, it's got Devotion. We've already gone through this. It's 7 face value if all the bleeding goes down. You link it with other synergy, that's potential to be 8, maybe even 9 if you find other ways of building it. I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. I can't actually think of something top of my head that would make it 9, but it's the Devotion keyword, right? It's not Finning because it spawns a base copy. It doesn't pull a base copy from the deck, but it's still row stacking, right? And this is what I mean. Stuff like Wandering Trident and then having stuff like Oak Critters that stacks rows, and then playing against stuff like Spires, because I think Spires are going to be pretty strong when they launch, you can easily find your board pretty clogged up by with like 3, maybe 4 cards left in hand. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes, but I do love Devotion as a keyword, and I think Devotion, maybe not directly in this set, but I think in future sets, as it's fleshed out as an archetype, or as it's fleshed out as a keyword, I think Devotion is going to be a game changer, and I genuinely mean that when it comes to Gwent. Young Dryad. Young Dryad is doomed, and it has Symbiosis. So it's a Young Dryad comes out, and it's 2 power, 0... Yeah, 0 provisions? I'm confused. Have I read this wrong? I think I may have read this wrong. No. So 0 provisions, apparently. 2 power. So you could free to put in your deck. Put as many of these in your deck as you want. So you're allowed a deck limit of 40, right? So you could just spam these in your deck, and you could just create a complete swarm, then play, I don't know, play what the hell you want to buff all units by 1, or damage enemy by I don't know, double play Oak, because you can play Oak round 1, use Echo to get it back, and play it again round 3. There's lots of swarm potential in Syndicate. So I keep saying Syndicate. In Scoia'tael. However, again, with Spies being a thing, I think Swarm is going to be a bit risky to play, is all I'm going to say. I think Swarm could be risky in this upcoming meta. Yeah. But, yeah, Young Druid, it's Symbiosis. I'm very interested to see how Symbiosis fits into the game in its early state. I think it could be good, but I feel like Symbiosis is the key word that's going to have a little bit of tweaking here and there to make it really gel in Gwent, as Gwent is at the moment. Now, Seditious Aristocrats is it's a devotion keyword, which again is one of my favourite keywords in this, probably my favourite keyword in this upcoming set. Deploy with devotion, boost self by 1 for every spying enemy unit. Whenever an enemy unit gains spying, boost self by 1. Spying is getting a lot of support, and I like the fact that it's getting support. It's giving Nilfgaard an identity, and that's kind of what I struggled for a little while. So definitely excited to see how this plays in. This looks like it's going to be a staple in any spy deck. Why wouldn't it be a staple in spy decks? Like, boost self by 1 for each spine. You only need 2 spine units out anyway to get your synergy off of that. And then every time you play a spine unit, you're still boosting by 1. It's is it super strong? No, but it's going to fit into a spine archetype. It has a devotion ability. So yeah, what I did find interesting here though was obviously the devotion ability is the top one, boost up by 1 for every spine enemy unit. But like I don't know, compared this devotion to say the devotion on Oak Critters, I feel like there's a slight. This one's slightly less underwhelming. Yeah, only because the main ability has to stick around. So obviously what it's saying, you could. The benefit of the devotion is you don't have to commit this round 1, turn 1. Normally, say Magni Division, you play it early, right? Because you want to get the value over rounds. And if this didn't have the devotion ability, you'd want to play it first card because you want to, every time you play a spine unit, you want to get that value. But it's not forcing you into having to play it opening card. You can play all your spine units. Chances are enemy can't remove those spine units because they're on their side. And then you can play this for a nice big buff. And if there's any spine units in hand, or you pull anything from deck, or there's any way of getting more spine units, you still get the value of it. So it's a nice wording. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. We've already seen Angry Mob damage an enemy unit by 2. Obviously, if it's a spine unit, then Conspiracy boost self by 2. So it boosts self by 2 if you target a spine unit. These could counteract each other. Obviously, you could end up removing a spine unit for 2 damage, which then means you'll get 1 less proc off this card here. So you're going to have to manage that a little bit. Then comes Squirrel. We quickly mentioned Squirrel. Banish a unit from your opponent's graveyard. If the information becomes public from Echo, if you can see which card is doomed before it goes back on top of the deck, then why wouldn't you run the 4-drop Squirrel? It's a 4/4 and you literally shut down Echo. You make your opponent have a 12-point Royal Decree over a 10-point Royal Decree. So if there is... It might not even be bugged. It might be the fact that they want you to visually see what is doomed in the graveyard. It will be a funny way of going about things because people are already complaining about the artifact like scenario meta, scenario versus Heaver meta at the moment being very binary. If it is a case of people are running a lot of the Echo card, I can't remember what it's called now, Oniromancy or something like that anyway, then people are going to be running Squirrels. They're just going to be running Graveyard Disruption in their decks just to shut it down. And it's like, well, you're losing 2 provisions to play a card you could play for 10 provisions because you're not getting that additional ability off it. So, be interesting to see how Squirrel fits in. Obviously, there are already cards that people run to disrupt graveyards at the moment. If you're playing Lippy, affecting Graveyard. Some people even play it just to play against Mystic Echo, just to get rid of the Waters of Brooklyn. And I mean, it's a little bit overkill myself, but if Graveyard Interaction becomes a thing, then Graveyard Removal is going to become a thing. Simple as that. Fortune Teller, Melee. Give Doomed to a unit. Deploy, ranged, give Veil to a unit. I just like these cards. These are what neutral cards should be. They're not super powerful, but they're nice. They're meaningful filler, shall we say. Like, they're 4/4, and you have the option, right? You have the removal if you need it with Will-O-Wisps from playing it and giving an enemy Doomed. Or you have the protection from giving a unit Veil. So that's exactly what I think this is an example, in my opinion, of a good neutral card. It's in the deck. It has several jobs it can do. It has meaningful spot in the deck. It's a 4-drop to give Veil or Doomed. This is gonna I wouldn't be surprised if Fortune Teller's pretty much auto include. I'm not even kidding. So you don't have Doomed is a status, right? So Vincent removes a card of a status. You can have that as removal. You don't have to run something like Will-O-Wisps to have kill or destroy a Doomed unit. Anything with a status can be removed, right? And I just think this is like too strong. For 4 provisions, you're getting the 4 base value back anyway, so you're getting your money's worth. Doomed is super strong, and Veil potentially protecting an engine. If they like, obviously they can still remove the engine with damage, but if their removal is poison, if their removal is, or if their removal or their control is through bleeding or locking or anything like that, it doesn't work because you just give Veil, and it's just like, yeah, Fortune Teller is going to be in so many decks. So honestly, this is the strongest bronze I think they've revealed so far, and I honestly mean that. This is so versatile. It plays into the current cards that we've seen so far. This card's gonna be super. Like honestly, I think this card is gonna be in almost every single deck you see when Master Mirror first launches. I'm not even kidding when I say that. By all means, disagree with me. Let me know in the comments. But that's honestly what I think. Okay, let's come down a little bit now. Here it is. 1 Eromancy, 1 Iromancy, on Iromancy, on Eromancy, something like that. Anyway, so play a card from your deck. It's a Royal Decree, but you get the Echo ability. Put a card at the start of the next round. Put a card at the top of your deck. So what you could argue is a lot of people say Royal Decree for round 3 because you have tutoring for one of your big cards if you don't find it. You can't save 1 Eromancy for round 3 because it's not put the card from your graveyard straight on top of your deck. It's at the start of the round. So you got to play this round 1 or 2. The card goes in the deck. It has to be played 1 or 2. What else is the bad thing about it? It gives information. It tells your opponent what is now at the top of your deck. What do I want to mulligan into to make sure I move that? That card also has Doomed as well. So Will-O-Wisp's a 5-drop card, could potentially remove one of their big fat bodies or one of their big engines because it's Doomed. So don't get me wrong, this card is strong. It is super strong, but the fact that it has to be played round 1 or 2, the fact that it has to, or the fact that it gives your opponent information, and the fact that it comes out with the Doomed element and there's so much Doomed interactive like cards coming in this set, I don't think it's as strong as people first realise. Like, I think Royal Decree still probably goes over it because the fact that you can't play this round 3. If you do, you're playing very expensive Royal Decree for absolutely no reason. So, yeah. Okay. Ethereal. Now, this was revealed on the Out of Focus show by Lionheart and Tia. Really cool show. Definitely check it out. And as soon as I saw this, I read this. 1, I don't like the wording. But 2, I've got a sneaky suspicion this card is going to be dumb. And I mean that. So, Ethereal is a demon. It's Doomed. At the start of your turn, transform a non-demon unit to the right into a base copy of itself. I think the wording should be transform the non-demon unit because there can be some confusion there. The non-demon unit is the card or the card to the right. A non-demon unit is just a little bit vague. But that's just my personal opinion. After playing years of Paper Magic, you need to know that the wording on those cards has to be absolutely spot on because people will find ways of breaking those cards. Now, off the top of my head, I know everyone's going on about Gurney Fruits and the way this works. Off the top of my head, I can't think now. But what I will say is, this is the kind of card, maybe not this set or this expansion, but this is the kind of card that will break a meta somehow. I'm not intelligent enough to really work out the combos, or yet I haven't figured that out. I haven't spent time really diving in to figure it out, but this is the kind of card, this wording is the kind of stuff that will need nerfing in the future. I can't tell you how, but trust me when I say that. Somehow, somewhere, probably Shin Miri, after he's done a very lengthy spreadsheet, will figure out how to break this card and break a combo with this card. And that's my concern with this card. Now, I know that's very vague. You say, well, you can say that about any card. But, I mean, I've played enough card games to know that when you start transforming stuff, it can get nasty. And I don't know how. Somewhere along the line, this is going to be a broken card. You heard it here first. Yeah, I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. I'd be interested in what people think of this card. And also, do you agree with me on the wording? At the end of your turn, transform the non-demon unit rather than a. That's just my opinion. But anyway. Oh god. Deploy. Boost 3 units in your deck by 2. This card is it's too expensive. I know you could say, well, if it's a 10 value card, you're going to play it because you're getting 10 values worth. Yeah, you're getting 10 values worth, but you don't get to choose what units you're boosting. So if you end up boosting, like, let's say you play this round 1, you're boosting cards. Remember, it's in your deck, not in your hand, in your deck. Now, I don't know if it means in hand as well. The way I'm reading this, Gwent refers to your deck as like your library, your deck, right? So this might be in hand, but normally Gwent says boost in hand as well. It doesn't say that, it says in deck. So it means stuff in my deck. If it goes on to 3 random bronzes that I don't care about round 3, well, I've just got a 4-point card. Like, yes, there might be ways of like breaking it. Who knows? Some idiot, I don't mean that horribly, but someone will probably find a way of making it so there's only 3 cards left in the deck, and you play this, and there's a way of drawing all 3 cards, and they're all boosted by 2. But still, is that whole like clunky combo worth it? No, I don't think so. I love the art. I think the premium is going to be absolutely stunning. It looks like something straight out of like a Bethesda game, right? Like Doom. But I do think this should be 10 provisions, and I think the fact that you don't have control, or from what I'm reading as you don't have control, and the fact that it's not in your hand, the fact that it's in your deck, again meaning this has to be played round 1 or 2. This can't be played round 3 unless you can find 3 boosted cards in your deck. Yeah, I think this card's a little underwhelming, to be honest. William Wallace. Here we are. Veteran, which we already spoke about. Veteran meaning buffs. So it'll be it's a 5-point card round 1. It's a 6-point card round 2. A 7-point card round 3. Also give an enemy rapture. So at the end of their turn, just bang my elbow. Not at the end of your turn. At the end of their next turn, they will do damage to themselves equal to the base their power. There's ways around that. They can purify to remove it because it is a status. They could throw armor onto it somehow, so you're not actually going to remove that unit. You're just going to damage it for X amount. Yeah, I think this is fine. Again, it is expensive, but 7 points can rapture. I think there's a pretty good balance into it, for it to be honest. I think this gets played more for the veteran mechanic and the veteran synergy, rather than for the rapture. Don't get me wrong, rapture's going to be annoying, right? If someone plays rapture on your card, like, you got 2 cards left in hand, they're playing this card, they put rapture on the card. If neither of your cards deal with that by purify or deal with it by giving armor, then you're going to probably lose that card. So, but with so much armor being a thing anyway, like the reason lacerate isn't so common right now is because armor's just a thing, and armor instantly takes away from value of lacerate. Armor's instantly going to take away from value of rupture. I think that this will be I think it'll be a strong card. I do think it'll be a strong card for Skellige. More, as I said, because the veteran synergy rather than the removal synergy. But we'll have to wait and see how it goes. Master Mirror. Now, let me read through this one because it's a bit of a mouthful. It's a demon, so you can't transform this one here before you start thinking about spawning this one into a base copy of itself and then starting to do the double ability Master Mirror. It can't happen. Can't happen with Ethereal. Ethereal is non-demon, okay? So, deploy. Transform the leftmost card in your hand into a random legendary card from your faction that was not in your starting deck. Repeat this ability whenever you play the rightmost card from your hand. Now, I don't think this card's very good at all. It won't be played at high level, like competitive Gwent. Why? Because there's too much RNG. High level competitive Gwent, or any high level competitive card game, is based around consistency. You need to know exactly what value you're getting from that card to make sure you can manipulate your opponent or win the game based on the value you know is there. We've seen it already. We've seen opens lost because people have played cards that have a slight amount of RNG to them, and they haven't gone the way they've gone, or they've gone fishing to try and yoink something, or try and damage something, or try and remove something, and it hasn't gone that way. Why would you play this card to then remove, like, transform the leftmost card in your hand? What if the leftmost card in your hand is a legendary card? Like, yeah, you could say, oh, do you know what, I'm gonna run this bad card in there to transform it. Like, I just don't. This card's it's a meme card. Simple as that. It's a meme card. Also, it's a legendary card from your faction that isn't in your starting deck. If it's not in your starting deck, the chances are it doesn't have synergy with your starting deck. There's a reason it's not in your starting deck. So why do you want it now? Like, I don't know. I find Master Mirror is a very weird one. I remember Jason Slammer a while ago saying that they're going to try to add a little amount of RNG as possible in future expansions. Master Mirror is an RNG card. All Gods an RNG card. Is that it for now for RNG? I think that is it for now for RNG, right? So, yeah, like, there's 2 cards already in this set that are pretty RNG focused. And, yeah, I don't know. I think Master Mirror, for being the flagship card of the expansion, it's going to be another Crimson Curse. The flagship card of the expansion never gets played. Master Mirror is going to be the flagship card expansion. It will get played, it will get experimented with. I don't think it will see much of the light of day, to be honest, past the first 2 or 3 weeks of the expansion. Okay, Marlene de Trastamara. I think that's how you say it anyway. So, Veil, it comes out with Veil. This is basically a Lady of the Lake, but with Veil, not Shield. Veil, order, give a unit Veil. It's going to be played. Simple as that. In the current meta, Poison's a big thing. Lock's quite a thing. Bleeding is quite a big thing. So, playing this and giving Veil to a unit is pretty solid. Especially if you're playing a deck that doesn't have anything that has vitality, to give your own positive statuses. Why wouldn't you run this card? Like, you're getting 2 Veils out. You're potentially saving a card's being removed by poison. Like, let's say Nilfgaard play 1 card to give poison, you Veil it. They play another card to give another card poison, you Veil that. That's 2 of their poison cards just gone. Like, gone. They can't poison those cards already gone now. They've got to spend another 2. That's 4 poisons from their starting deck just to remove 1 card. So, I do think this gets played. I don't know how strong Veil's going to be. I think it's a good answer at the moment, but it's one of those ones that I think we need to see Veil in action. Also, it's 6 for 6. 6 for 6. Like, which is crazy. Like, this is, so it's a rare card. It's not a legendary card. 6 for 6 on this rare card. Compare that to something like Allgod, which is a very expensive card. And this is 10 for 11. And it's RNG focused. Like, this is what I mean. I just think this card's a bit underwhelming, in my opinion. But yeah, I think this definitely gets played, especially straight off the bat, because people are going to want to play around with Veil. I think this is very much included in a lot of lists. And it potentially saves an engine. It doesn't save it from damage, but it saves it from poison. And poison is one of the most prominent pieces of things to remove. To be honest, poison is probably the best removal in the game right now. And then we come down to the... Is that all the cards? Oh. Yeah. So now we come down to the Evolving Usurper. Now, people will know when I used to play a game, I love Usurper. Usurper's my favourite. Was my favourite leader. Obviously, now Lockdown's the ability. I'm going to be completely... Okay, so I don't want to say... I don't want people to think Woody doesn't like these cards. I was underwhelmed by the Evolution cards. For one specific reason. Why do I play this card round 1 when I could play it round 3? So let's read through the cards and I'll explain what I mean. Okay, so Usurper Officer is the first one. Deploy Spawn an Operative in an enemy row. You can't click on this to see what an Operative is, I'm afraid, guys, but an Operative is a spying unit. So spawn an Operative in an enemy row. It has Zeal, so instantly you can seize all Operatives at the start of the round. While in deck, it transforms. So while it's in hand or deck. So this is what I mean, this is hand or deck. So going back to that Allgod, the wording is boost 3 cards by 2 in your deck, not in your hand or deck. So that's what I mean, that there's inconsistency in the wording. Now, that's good, okay? I'm instantly playing this. I'm spawning an Operative. I don't know what the Operative's base stats are. I'm guessing probably 2, maybe 1. Oh, wait. They're in the game now. They're 1. So I'm pretty sure an Operative is 1. Am I going crazy? Oh, no, it's Operator. Is it not? Can I not type in spying? Oh, I spelled it wrong, didn't I? That's an informant. Sorry, my bad. My bad. It's an informant I was thinking of as an operator. My bad. So there are no operators in the game at the moment. So maybe they've revealed it. I'm going to go for and say it's 2. Let's say it's 2. Okay, an operator is 2 bodies. So it's 8 playing it. Obviously, you give your opponent 2, but you seize it straight away. So it's 8 value to yourself. But seizing all operatives. So there's no doubt going to be ways in this set to give an enemy unit an operative status, right? So I can give one of their big engines an operative status, and I can steal it when playing this card. Now, round 2, it does pretty much the same, but it spawns an operative in each enemy row. So meaning now it comes out same provision cost, same body. So now it comes down for 10 value, right? Because let's say again, they're 2 bodies. You're spawning 2 operatives. You're stealing both of them. It's 4 points you're stealing. But devotion at the start of your round, start of round you boost anyway. So this is allowing you to get that little extra value. And then round 3, it has Veil. So it can't be removed, it can't be poisoned, or anything like that, right? So, I mean, why would I play this round 1 when I can get a guaranteed extra 2 points and mean it can't be removed round 3? Now this is where my issues with the evolving cards come in. They don't require any skill to play. because there's no, like, what I was hoping when they said evolving, like, evolution cards was, again, I've been playing a lot of Legends of Runeterra. I really like Legends of Runeterra. Now, I like their champion mechanics because they require skill. You need to know when to play the champion to make sure you can get the level up on the champion to make sure you get the full value. Now, what I would like to have seen with something like this was still having the free evolution stages, but you kind of have criteria. So if you, to get to round 3, you have to level up round 1 or something like that. Like, let's say, so it naturally goes up 1 level anyway. So you're always going to hit mid-tier level. But to get the god tier level, to get the big level, you need to level it up. Now, how do you level it up? What I would like to have seen was you play it round 1 and you have to meet some kind of condition. So let's say I play this, comes down for 6, spawn operative in enemy row, play 2 spine units round 1, and then this levels up. What happens when it levels up? It returns to your hand and it spawns a 4-cost unit on your side. So you're still getting 4 value, you're losing 2 value, but you're then getting this big one to play next round because it's going to automatically level up anyway. Then that's going to put a lot more skill on the player to make sure they're playing at the right time. They can still play at round 2. It's not really, I mean, what's the point of having evolving? That's what I mean, because this is mostly going to be just this card here, maybe this card. Most people are going to just throw this out here. But they might play it round 1 and then use cards like Sire or anything else to put it back in the deck, to then play Mata to get it back in hand. So maybe they play it twice. But I just feel like it's underwhelming. It doesn't feel like an evolution because I'm not evolving the card. I can do whatever I want in the game. That card's automatically going to evolve. So coming from card games where I've played many card games where evolution has been a status, leveling up a card has been a status. I've never played a card game when it's been the most passive thing. It's normally based on timing and resource management, so making sure that I want to get the level up done right. And this is just a case of it's not going to be that. Like once the meta settles down, honestly, I think you hardly see Usurper Officer. You probably just see Usurper Emperor come down. That is it. It's going to turn into a 1-copy card because, well, why would I play this when it's going to potentially get removed and I've got to try and fish up my graveyard? Why would I play this when round 2 isn't going to be much of a thing anyway? Oh, I'll just save it for this one. I'll get the full value of it. So I just feel like there was a better way of doing evolution cards. That's honestly what I feel. Obviously, we need to see them in action. Obviously, I need to see how they play. They might be super good fun. I don't know. But I just don't like CDPR taking the evolution away from the pilot, away from the player, and just saying, no matter what you do, they're going to level up. And I just don't really like that. I like to have the ownership of it. That's my opinion on it. That's just my opinion on it. I am interested to see what they do. I think the idea in playing around with evolving cards is something fun, and it's fresh and it's new, and I'm glad they're doing it. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more skill asked from the player to level it up, rather than just saying no matter what you do, no matter how bad you play, or no matter what you're running, it's going to level up. And it's just a little bit like, well, it means now that if my opponent doesn't find their evolving card all round from mulligans and I find mine, then do I win because I found it? Like, rather than I have to level up somehow? I don't know. I have lots of questions around these, and I'm interested to see how they pan out. But that's just my complete honest opinions on the evolving cards. So, and that's it, guys. That is the whole video. That's all the cards available at the moment. It's 45 minutes long, this video. I wanted to keep it as short and as sweet and as sharp as possible, but I hopefully understand. Obviously, going through these cards, sharing my thoughts on them isn't the quickest thing to do. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, guys, give it a little like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll try and bring some more Gwent content as and when I can. We're going to aim for one of these videos each week. So sometime next week, I will be doing another video. Hopefully there'll be another evolving card out so I can share my thoughts on that one. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it goes on. It'll be interesting to see more card reveals. I'm definitely looking forward to the set. I'm looking forward to playing Nilfgaard Spies. I think they're going to be pretty damn strong at the beginning. And I'm also looking forward to playing around with some more control assets through Doom. But anyway, what are you guys looking forward to in the expansion? I really well, I'd like to know. I'd just love to know. So let me know in the comments below. But anyway, guys, have a great day, morning, evening, whatever it is, wherever the hell you guys are. Have fun, be good, stay good, and I will chat to you all soon in the next video. Until then, goodbye.